video. There we go. Okay, so Rich Dad Poor Dad in Chinese. That was the initial idea of what we were going to be reading. But reading is a good thing no matter what it is that you're reading. And we've got something good anyhow. The Art of Thinking Clearly. We've got some other books ready for after that. Thank you to everybody on Big O that is sending through some love. So that's always really nice. So we'll just say hello to everybody there very quickly. So feel free to leave comments. Feel free to chat in the Zoom if you're watching live. Marlon, good to see you. And if you're watching the YouTube replay, leave a comment. I love hearing from you, so don't be shy. And today we are on chapter 31, how to relieve people of their millions, or how to protect yourself from losing millions, which is also important. And we should probably also have a chat about how to make the millions in the first place. Some people don't have millions to be relieved of. So today's chapter is called Induction. Here we go. I'm excited. I hope you are too. So a farmer feeds a goose. At first, the shy animal is hesitant, wondering, what's going on here? Why is he feeding me? This continues for a few more weeks until eventually the goose's skepticism gives way. After a few months, the goose is sure that the farmer has my best interests at heart. Each additional day's feeding confirms this. Fully convinced of the man's benevolence, the goose is amazed when he takes it out of its enclosure on Christmas Day and slaughters it. Wow, great Thursday morning analogy to start the day with. The Christmas goose fell victim to inductive thinking, the inclination to draw universal certainties from individual observations. Philosopher David Hume used this allegory back in the 18th century to warn of its pitfalls. However, it's not just geese that are susceptible to it. An investor buys shares in stock X. The share price rockets, and at first he is wary. Probably a bubble, he expects. As the stock continues to rise, even after months, his apprehension turns into excitement. This stock may never come down, especially since every day this is the case. After half a year, an investor's life savings in it. Ooh, all your eggs in one basket. Bit of a nasty one, that one. Turning a blind eye to the huge cluster risks this poses. Later, the man will pay for his foolish investment. He has fallen hook, line, and sinker for induction. Inductive thinking doesn't have to be a road to ruin, though. In fact, you can make your fortune with it by sending a few emails. Here's how Nassim Taleb describes it, although with fewer addresses. Put together two stock market forecasts, one predicting that prices will rise next month and one warning of a drop. I think we've already spoken about this in a previous chapter, but here we go. Send the first email to 50,000 people and the second email to a different set of 50,000. Suppose that after 1 month, the indices have fallen. Now you can send another email, but this time only to the 50,000 people who received a correct prediction. These 50,000 you divide into two groups. The first half learns that prices will increase next month. The second half discovers they will fall. Continue doing this. After 10 months, around 100 people remain, all of whom you have advised impeccably. They've all received correct forecasts every single time, 10 times in a row. From their perspective, you are a genius. You have proven that you are truly in possession of prophetic powers or an insider trade. Some of these people will trust you with their money. Quite often, most of them will trust you with their money. Take it and start a new life in Brazil. However, you're not going to be able to keep predicting the correct things for them, so that is not going to last very long. Taleb describes this trick in Fooled by Randomness, however, with only 10,000 names. This is now highly illegal. Do not do this. So this was something that used to work back in the day. I don't know how long ago it was, but this used to work and people used to do this. And then people realized that, yeah, a lot of people were being duped. So they stopped the practice and it is now illegal to do this. So do not do this. However, it's not just naive strangers who get deceived in this way. We constantly trick ourselves too. For example, people who are rarely ill consider themselves immortal. Guilty, I'm immortal. But so were my father and a lot of other people. Let's see what it says about that. CEOs who announce increased profits in consecutive quarters deem themselves infallible. Their employees and shareholders do too. I once had a friend who was a base jumper. He jumped off cliffs, antennae, and buildings, pulling the ripcord only at the last minute. One day, I brought up how risky his chosen sport is. He replied quite matter-of-factly, I've over 1,000 jumps under my belt and nothing has ever happened to me. 2 months later, he was dead. It happened when he jumped from a particularly dangerous cliff in South Africa. The single event was enough to eradicate a theory confirmed 1,000 times. There are actually videos on YouTube where you can see people hitting their heads and not being able to pull the cord because they've injured themselves on the way down. Quite scary, really. Okay. Inductive thinking can have devastating results, yet we cannot do without it. We trust that when we board a plane, aerodynamic laws will still be valid. Fingers crossed on that one. We imagine that we will not be randomly beaten up on the street. Fingers crossed. We expect that our hearts will still be beating tomorrow. This is a really interesting one because obviously we all know that we're going to die, but we just don't expect it to happen today. We don't expect it to happen tomorrow. We expect that our hearts will still be beating tomorrow. These are confidence without which we could not live, but we must remember that certainties are always provisional. As Benjamin Franklin said, nothing is certain but death and taxes. So from this point of view, it's important to make sure that you have a balance. So you need to make sure that you are living and doing amazing things. Maybe not base jump if you think that that's going to be dangerous. For some people, it's okay to do and they really enjoy it. Some people will probably stay away from it. Induction seduces us and leads us to conclusions such as mankind has always survived, so we will be able to tackle any future challenges too. Sounds good in theory, but what we fail to realize is that such a statement can only come from a species that has lasted until now. I am sure the dinosaurs said the exact same thing. To assume that our existence today is an indication of our future survival is a serious flaw in reasoning, probably the most serious of all. So what do I say is the conclusion to all of this? Well, first of all, it's important to make sure that you are living. That's very important. And that you're enjoying every single day. So somebody recently told me, and it's very, very true. If you died tomorrow, would you be happy with what you did today? And very often, that's not the case for most people. So making these videos, I really love. I'm not vegetarian or vegan, says Mladen, but I'm sad for the goose. Not a nice feeling when being betrayed by one, and I can only see the first part of it, when by one who you trust, and Mladen feels guilty about that. Yes, so obviously humans do need to eat. Some of us like to eat geese and foie gras and different other things. But I think the most important thing is we need to make sure that we are living, that we are enjoying life. That's very important, so that we don't die with regrets. So what are you doing today that is going to bring you joy? When it comes to investing, are you doing your own research? And I think this is where this chapter really comes to its strength. Are you doing your own research? Are you figuring out where you have control and where you don't have control? So if you are doing only technical analysis, you only have a certain amount of control. If you're doing fundamental analysis, where you're having a look at who the CEO is, what kind of sales results this company's had, what their prognoses are, and what their plans are, whether they've been able to achieve their plans in the past. So a company that keeps lying to you and saying, oh, we will make double-digit growth next month, we'll make double-digit growth next month, but they don't do it, is obviously going to be more of a risk than a company that has said in the past that they'll create double-digit growth, and they have created double-digit growth. So there are many different things that we can talk about in other episodes, in other ways, when we set things up a little bit differently. So leave me a comment if you like the format, if you like the reading. Give me some feedback. I'm very curious to see what we can improve or change about the format of what we're doing here. Hopefully you are enjoying the reading. But yes, that is what is going to be very important. Having the understanding and the knowledge of certain things, as opposed to just doing something on blind faith and blind trust. So I think that is really one of the big things from this chapter. So that was induction. Tomorrow is chapter 32. Why evil strikes harder than good. And this one's called the loss aversion. So I'm looking forward to reading that one for you tomorrow. I'm looking forward to your comments, your thoughts. Thank you, Mladen, for your thoughts as well. Hopefully nobody's going to have Christmas goose today, because probably everybody will be feeling squeamish after that. But take those lessons and have a think about your investing and your life. Are you squeezing everything out? Are you doing something that is going to bring you joy today, so that if you died tomorrow, that you'd be happy and satisfied with your life or not, and with your investing. Where do you have control? How can you get some more control? Or are you gambling, like we've been talking about in a couple of other chapters, and just hoping for the best, fingers crossed, and not really taking any control or any responsibility? And that's also very important. Are you taking responsibility? That's a lesson that I've had to learn myself personally very recently. Okay, I'm going to leave you all to start doing something amazing with your day, so that if, knock on wood, you don't die tomorrow, but if you did, that you would have been satisfied with your day, and that you know that you've done something worthwhile with your day. So I'm going to leave you to do that. I'm going to do the exact same. I will see you all tomorrow. Have an amazing day. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow.